It's a real pleasure for me to welcome a very talented singer who's been quite prolific in many genres of singing. Hailing from Coimbatore, she is a trained Carnatic vocalist who has been singing for the last 25 years. She, along with her sister, have toured across the country with her concerts. She has sung in different languages like Tamil, Malayalam, and even in the beautiful language of Badaga.
Shambho, Shiva Shambho, Swayambho. Bho, Shambho, Shiva Shambho, Swayambho. Bho, Shambho, Shiva Shambho, Swayambho.
She's very adept in light music and has had the fortune to share the stage with legendary singers like Sri.T.M.Soundarrajan, Sri.Deepan Chakravarthy, Sri.Srinivas, Sri.Unni Menon, and Sri.Madhu Balakrishnan. She has lent her voice for devotional albums in Malayalam and Tamil. She has sung in a few Tamil movies like Neethana Avan, Puthiya Kavyam, to mention a few. She has sung in Malayalam movies like Thamarakunnille, bhadrapuranam. She was a female lead vocalist in Prayan, which was quite a hit in Music Mojo. She is a recipient of Women of Excellence awarded to her by Rotary, Coimbatore. She has recently shifted to Toronto with her family, where she continues her passion for music by teaching upcoming singers. Radhika, we'll just take you back to perhaps our most cherished part of our lives, that is our childhood. What was the earliest memories related to music of your childhood?
Okay, so first of all, thank you for having me on your show. I'm so happy to be a part of this show and your channel. So when I talk about my childhood, I have a lot of memories connected to music, starting from trying to run away from the class to being exposed to a lot of music, because I think we lived in Coimbatore. I was born and brought up in Coimbatore, and my relatives are all in Cochin. Yes. So whenever we got a chance, we used to drive to Cochin. Okay. And during those drives, I remember the moment we stepped into the car till we reached our destination, we used to always have music. Okay. So we used to have a really good collection of music, and all the time it was songs. That one topic that always we had at home was music. So more than talking about anything else, it was always music at home. And of course, my competition days, as when I was younger, I used to participate in a lot of competitions in Coimbatore. So they're conducted by different associations like Kerala's Cultural Association, and the Dhanvantri Temple used to conduct a lot of competitions. So these are the main memories that I have connected to music. And initially I had a lot of, I wasn't very interested to learn music. And also the first teacher I learned under, I used to try to run away from the class. I used to, that was how it was. But later it took some time for me to take music seriously. So these are some of the memories I can recall now.
When was your ability to singing really identified? Like you could become a good singer? When did you yourself think that I could become a professional singer or singing, I can take it up seriously?
Okay, when I really thought, I think I was when I started learning, I was very small, like maybe fifth standard. I was very playful, so I wasn't very serious about music. So then I changed to another teacher. She's been my guru ever since. She's Smt.Parvathi Mani and Sri.Kovai.Ka.Mani. Okay. So once under their guidance is when the amount of effort that they put, that's when I started realizing there's so much into music. Nice. So something that I have to take seriously. And of course my parents were great lovers of music, and they really wanted me and my sister to sing very well. They never they were not very fussy about the studies. They were more interested towards music. So somehow indirectly that came into me that okay, then I should sing and things like that.
Did you and your sister really compliment each other while singing? How did it all happen?
Oh yes, she started learning much earlier, at a much earlier age, and we used to go to classes together. We used to practice together, and we used to even perform together. So our concerts were together. We used to do it together, And if you, I don't know how this word came up actually, but in fact, whenever we used to perform, this was one comment that we used to get, that our voices used to complement each other. I don't know if you're talking about the voices or the other way around, but if you ask about the voices, somehow people used to say that we used to complement each other, because she had a very heavy voice, more a Carnatic voice, and mine was a lighter voice. So, but somehow when we used to sing together, people say that it used to be a good blend of voices, and that way we used to complement each other a lot. And yes, and our practice sessions and going to classes and all, we were always together. So
How was this whole training experience under Sri.Kovai.Ka.Mani and Sri.Parvathi.Mani? Do you believe that training really made you a versatile singer, because you have explored all sorts of songs in your career?
Oh, definitely, because like I told earlier, it was only after I joined with them that I started taking music seriously, because the effort that they put in, I don't know if any teacher of, at least today, takes, because it's become so commercial these days that they never looked at the clock. So we went there, we used to just spend hours together at their place. They used to just keep making us sing, and it was that effort. I don't think anybody else can put that kind of effort. Plus, if you talk about versatility, I don't know if I can call myself a versatile singer, but usually a Carnatic singer can have an accent, can develop an accent which can influence their light music singing.
Okay.
So they can have an accent when it comes to light music. So in that aspect, my teacher was, though she'd never taught me any light music singing, even in Carnatic, when we had to sing semi-classical songs, devotional songs, she used to tell us how to modulate our voice accordingly, not have that Carnatic flavor to it, to change our voices. So that she is really helped us a lot, and so I was able to handle both light music to an extent, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awareness of shruti is really very important in music. How can a child be made awareness of shruti at an early age?
It's a very challenging question, I should say, because Shruti is one concept which cannot be explained to anybody, because it's very difficult to explain what Shruti is and make them aware of Shruti. So it's one challenge actually that I'm facing now also when I'm teaching the students, that I'm not able to, it's very difficult to, I believe to a lot of extent it is inborn, and you need to have an ear for, you have to have an ear for Shruti. Like somehow it just happens subconsciously. Like you when you hear the Shruti, your voice sinks to it. That is to a lot of extent it is that. So if you have to develop it and cultivate it, you really need to have an ear for it. And I think the more you're exposed to it, whether or not you are at sync in the beginning, I think the more and more you listen to it, and I feel at one point your voice will sink. So yeah, it is a very challenging thing to, yeah.
The process of learning Carnatic in early stages is quite boring. When I send my son to a Carnatic class, he found it really boring. But
Yes.
we need to go through that process. Unless the child and the parent has the knowledge and passion for music, it's difficult to carry Carnatic music to a wider audience. Can you suggest some measures to make this divine art reach a larger audience?
The one point that you mentioned has the answer. The parents and the children should have that understanding. So many a times we find that the parents are they are not patient enough to give the time for the child to explore what this area of music is. They expect instant results, which is not going to happen at all. So every time a student comes to us, we have to tell the parents first that please don't expect a miracle in the beginning itself, because it's a long process. And these days, when we learned, of course, we are not exposed to a lot of music. So whatever the teacher was teaching, we used to learn. We used to just go by the flow. But today the kids are listening to so much of music, and they are so exposed to music that they expect to sing songs at the beginning itself. So you start with Varishagal and Geetam and Varnam, they get really bored. So what I do personally is I teach small bhajans, small songs which kids can learn, nothing complex. So they keep themselves, there's some kind of motivation for them to come to class. So that's what I do. Yeah.
As a singer, you have given many live concerts and also performed in the studio. Which is a greater learning experience for a singer? Is it the studio or the concert?
Both. I think it's both because two different experiences. Because in studio, when you sing, it teaches you how to, control your voice to different types. And you're learning a new song. You're not going to imitate a song that you've already learned. It's going to be your own creation. So you have to get the input of the music directors and put in your own word to bring out what they are trying to tell you. It's a totally different experience. And singing before a live audience is again a big experience because you get an instant response. You know what they're whether they're liking it or not instantly. So that way, that is another experience. So how to know the pulse of the audience, that is another experience. So both has yeah.
Yeah, while going through your profile, the most interesting thing I found was your entry into this Badaga music industry. How did this whole thing happen? It's absolutely an alien language. You are a Malayali, Badaga language. How did this whole thing happen? Like,
oh, it was, I don't know. When I look back now, I really wonder how all this happened because it was a very accidental thing. I was recording something in a studio, some other song. I think it was a Tamil song I was recording. And it so happened that it was the studio belonged to a Badaga music director. So someone he knew had come there. He was visiting the studio. So he heard my voice and he said, I'm producing an album, so I would like to try your voice. So we were totally not aware of such an industry. I mean, Badaga industry being there. So we were very hesitant in the beginning. So we were not sure if this will work out and all that. So they asked us to come to Ooty to see if I can fit into their kind of singing. So everything was so going all the way to Ooty and trying out and all. We had a lot of thoughts about it, but then we went and the experience was totally different. There were so many people to judge you, as in they really want. It was really like a test. They made us sing and they were very particular about the pronunciation. There was no compromise there. So somehow they said my accent or my pronunciation was like perfect for their. I don't know how that happened, but they found it very apt for their kind of singing. So that's how it started. So my first album, I sang around 5 or 6 songs, if I remember right. And then I've been singing, I think, in almost all the albums that they've been producing. So a wonderful experience because that's one thing I can carry all the time. That the number of songs that I've sung for Badaga is one thing I will always cherish. Yeah.
in YouTube, I found all your videos, music albums, everything, but not a single Badaga song. So can you just hum a few lines in Badaga for us?
Oh, sure. There are few videos available, but I think they've not given the credits or whatever. So maybe that's why you're not able to find it. And the visuals are different. They just put some other. So maybe that's why. So since I know what I've sung, I can find out the songs anyway. So I'll sing a few lines.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. என்ன ராணு ராணு ಇಂದು ಕೊರಸುವನೇ ಇಂದು ಅಳ್ಳಿಯು ಎನಗಾಡಿರದು ಎನ್ನ ಕಣ್ಣು ಮಣಿ ಎಂದು ಕೊಂಜವನೇ ಮಯಂಗಿ ನಾನು ಓಡಿರದು ಮಮ್ಮ 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 Mama, 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 mama. That's one song. I mean, most of the songs are duets. So,
how did you manage the script? Did you write in Malayalam or Tamil? How did you manage to write the whole thing? Because Badaga doesn't have a script, I guess.
Yeah, they don't have a script. And so I used to write in English basically, but some of the words like Nana and Lala and all, I used to write in Malayalam. So certain words which has to be pronounced in a different way. So those words alone in Malayalam, but the major part in English. So it used to be like that. Sometimes even Tamil, I used to write in Tamil. So somehow to get the pronunciation right, whatever they said, that way.
Yeah. I think as a singer, one of your high points in your career was the band Prayan. I think you have performed
Definitely.
a lot with the Prayan. You bonded well with that group. How did the whole Prayan experience start off?
Oh, it was started by the lead singer in Prayan's band called he's Ajay
Okay.
Satyan.
Okay.
So we are family. So
Okay.
we grew up singing together and all that. So when he started, when he wanted to start Prayan, I think I was there
Okay.
on his mind maybe.
Okay.
It just happened. So we all started together, and it was a beautiful experience because I'm very comfortable singing with people I know.
Okay.
So that way my stress level is
Okay.
much lesser. So I learned a lot because we tried different kind of different types of songs were explored and all that. So I could do even Carnatic fusions there and all that. So it was a lot of fun.
You had real
Yes.
blast there in Prayan. I think you sang
Yes,
all sorts of
definitely,
songs. Beautiful.
definitely. A lot of memories attached to Brian, yeah.
You have toured across the country with your sister, without your sister, performed in concerts
Yes, yes.
across the country. Just out of curiosity, how do you actually prepare for a concert? Or do you have a certain structure in mind and then you go around and improvise it according to the audience? How do you just go about with a concert?
Yes, yes. Lots of help from my teacher, of course. So we have a pre-planned list usually. So we assume that the audience that we are going to perform will like these songs, and we prepare a list. But of course, after going there, it's all the time the list changes. So
Okay.
every time on the stage, the list will change. So though we prepare a list of songs, as we practice also, my teacher and my master will give us the inputs like better prepare these kind of songs as well.
Okay.
So we practice them also as like standby songs. So once we go there, we somehow, and most of the time my master used to accompany us on Mridangam.
Okay.
So he used to help us, to tell what the pulse of the audience is. Though even when we are there, when master's there, we can always rely on him for that assurance that we can do something else.
Okay.
So he used to tell us on stage if we have to do
Okay.
something different.
Okay.
So Carnatic was like that. So even in light music, though we prepare certain songs and go, once we are on stage, sometimes we can't sing those songs because the audience expects something totally different. Yeah. So that happens.
Carnatic music or any classical music form, there is a certain structure and well laid out do's and don'ts, which means that there is certain exclusivity. Do you feel that experimentation, say in terms of fusion or bringing in Western instruments, really expands the boundaries?
Okay, I am for it because I really enjoy fusions, where Western fusion. But somewhere I feel there's a line that shouldn't be crossed. I don't know because I don't know how to define that as well. Because for me, the musicality should remain because any composition has an essence. That's what I believe. So when that is lost, I think the entire thing is lost. So sometimes some fusions that I see, I feel they are very overdone. They're too much of overdoing is there. So that way I don't enjoy such fusions. But when they can peacefully coexist, like they say,
Okay.
then I really enjoy fusion. I really enjoy. The answers to your previous question as well. How how it can help children. It becomes more acceptable for the
Correct point.
audience. Yeah.
Let me try and ask you two questions in one. You are an MPhil in English. Did you ever think of continuing your love for the language? And did study of English really help you in your singing?
Oh, yes, I loved studying English. I was an assistant professor until I got married.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, I was working in Coimbatore and I really loved teaching. So teaching is something I've always enjoyed, which is why I'm doing that even here now. I'm teaching music.
Oh, wow.
But somehow I love teaching. So, and literature has always been so special. And if you ask me how it has helped me in music, I'm one person who looks at lyrics first. I don't know why. Maybe it's because of the literature. I don't know the influence of literature, but there are certain songs which have zero meaning to it. Those kind of songs don't touch me at all. But for me, the lyrics, if I have to listen to a song and I need my earphones on, those are songs which will have good lyrics and poetic value to it. So
Wonderful.
I really enjoy such songs.
Wonderful. I'm sure in Toronto there will be a lot of non-residents and Indians who perhaps would have started enjoying your singing, and also students who have latched on to all that you impart to them. How's the music scene in Toronto? You've been only there for about a year or so. Just let me know, what is the
Yeah.
music scene in Toronto like?
Yeah, I after coming here, I've been hearing that it's very active. The
Okay.
music field is there are a lot of singers who have migrated here actually from India, who have
Okay.
sung in movies and done playback singing, and they've come here. So there are a lot of artists, I believe, who are here and they've been performing. And Toronto, I think, is a place where a lot of shows happen as well. So a lot of leading singers coming and singing. But sadly, because of the pandemic that we are in, everything has been paused and nothing's been happening right now. But I've been meeting few artists here, and they've been giving really positive inputs about the music scene here. There are a lot of people enjoying music here, and I think there's a good scope of
Okay.
music here. Yes.
Do you really miss the music concert in India and the whole music scene in India?
Oh, definitely, I do miss.
Okay.
Definitely, you've been there all these years, so you will miss the scene there. So yeah, of course, recordings and all that is something I really miss, because here I'm yet to get into all that, and I don't know if there are studios and how things are happening here. I'm yet to know all that, but back home, yeah, I miss recordings and of course kacheris and all that. Yeah, I do miss them. Yeah.
Okay, then we would love to sign off with this few lines from your fusion album, Bo Shambho, which has been really close, which has really zoomed up at 22 million views. How's
Oh,
the whole
yes.
experience been like before you start off the
Oh my
singing?
God. Oh, really? That again with my sister Lakshmi, she after marriage, she wanted to start singing once again. So that's how we thought about this. So we started with it was a very simple thought that came to us, and we just started doing the recording, and video somehow came out to be really
Really
good.
good, really good. Yeah,
Actually, yeah, we really didn't think we planned it at a very simple level, but somehow the video came out so well that and of course the background music done by Ashwat was also very good. Like I said, it never hindered the original
yes,
composition.
absolutely,
He was
absolutely.
able to bring out so we sang, and I don't know how it became so viral
22
that
million
people,
views, 22 million
yes,
views.
yes.
That's really
Oh yes,
wonderful.
that was really wonderful. And even now there are people sending it across WhatsApp, and we are really surprised that people sharing it. It's really good.
Can we just sign off with a few lines from that Bo Shambho
Oh,
album?
sure. Mm. Oh, Shambho, Shiva Shambho, Swayambho. Bho Shambho, Shiva Shambho, Swayambho. Bho Shambho, Shiva Shambho, Swayambho. Bho Shambho, Shiva Shambho, Swayambho. Gangadhara Shankara Karunakara Mamava Bhavasagara Taraka Ho Shambho Shiva Shambho Swayambho.
Thanks a lot,
Thank
Radhika, for really
you.
sparing us time for this program. And
Thank
thanks.
you.
And I hope that you continue to come and bless Dhwani, which is just a
Oh,
small
sure.
initiative, from
Thank
my
you so
side.
much. And I should tell you, the questions you asked, I don't think I've never been asked such questions. So
Thank you,
very
thank you,
nice. It was a
thank
very
you,
nice chat session,
thanks a
and
lot.
I wish Dhwani the best.
Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to seeing so many videos from you with a lot of content.
Thanks a lot, Radhika.
Hoping
Thanks a
to
lot,
see you more.
Radhika, for joining us,
Thank you.
and we'll continue to bring in such talented singers in days to come. And
Oh,
for the
thank
well
you.
wishes and for Dhwani, thanks a
Thank you
lot.
so much for
Thanks,
having me on your show.
thanks a lot.
Thank
Thank you.
you very much.